Hello baseball fans, this is Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and excited to be back with our Status Pro Advanced 1976 Game of the Week. And today we are doing a Week 3 replay, and probably one of the wildest games you will ever see in the major leagues. This was an April game between the Phillies and Cubs, in which the Phillies won 18-6. And the two teams combined for a total of 43 hits and obviously 34 runs in a game that on paper looked to be a good pitching matchup, as both teams sent their aces, Steve Carlton for the Phils and Rick Russell for the Cubs. But that did not last long, as the Phillies broke through in the second inning with a solo home run by Gary Maddox, and then the Cubs absolutely unloaded on Lefty in the bottom of the inning, chasing him with a total of 7 runs. They would go on to build leads of 12-1 and 13-2 before the Phillies rallied to score 13 runs in the final 3 innings to take a 15-13 lead into the bottom of the ninth. Cubs knotted it at 15, and then the Phillies scored a 3 spot in the top of the 10th. Cubs answered with 1, but that was not enough, as the Phillies survived a wild one 18-16 in a very football-like game. Now, another notable thing about this game, the teams combined for 9 home runs. The Phillies had 6, and of those 6, 4 of them were hit by Mike Schmidt. So Schmidt tied a major league record with 4 home runs, and that made this a definite must play on our Game of the Week replay. So that is a little background on this. We'll see how things develop in our alternate reality. And to start things off, for the park adjustment at Wrigley Field, 11-75 on a deep fly will be a home run. And when you get to Schmidt's card, fits perfectly in his wheelhouse. You can see he has home runs versus right-handers 17-24 and deep 25-31, so that's a long range for potential home runs. And if he gets on that deep roll today, we could see him repeat that 4 home run performance. So our lineups to start this one, for the Phillies: Dave Cash at second, Larry Bowa at short, Jay Johnstone in right, Greg Luzinski, the bull, in left, Dick Allen in right, Mike Schmidt, and I'm sorry, it's actually Dick Allen at first. Mike Schmidt at the hot corner, Gary Maddox in center, Bob Boone behind the plate, and of course Lefty on the hill. For the Cubbies, Rick Monday in center, Jose Cardinal in left, Bill Madlock at third, Jerry Morales in right, Andre Thornton at first, Manny Trio at second, Steve Swisher behind the plate, Dave Rosello at short, and of course the whale, Rick Russell. And he was a big man, but despite his size, the Cubs actually used him frequently as a pinch runner and even a pinch hitter, so his athleticism, or at least knowledge of the game, belied his appearance. For Wrigley Field, pitchers cannot get an increase to their stuff. They definitely can have their stuff affected negatively, and this would be a good game to see that happen. So Carlton first, 57, and he survives with his normal stuff. Rick Russell. And Russell, he's going to have his normal stuff as well. So no worries there. And we are going to get straight to the action here. Now, I'll be using, you see there's no fast action cards. I'll be going with dice. And I have the Lewis Research Status Pro Advanced Flipper just off camera. And I'll be using that to do the out checks, error checks, etc. And I would put it on, but you can see it doesn't really, it shows up here, but down from a distance you can't really see the numbers, and it kind of blurs the picture. So do not want that to be a distraction, but that's how I'm getting the out results and also doing the error checks, etc. So with that, we will start, and again using the dice. Roll of 1 is a clutch batting result, which only comes into play if there are runners on. Otherwise, it goes to the normal result on the cards. And then 2 and a 3 will be clutch defense checks. And on clutch defense, actually did it wrong the first couple of games. With the advanced version, you do clutch defense whether or not there are runners on first base. So we will be doing that and using the advanced clutch defense chart. So I think that's all the housekeeping items. We are ready to go. Steve Carlton has a SR rating, his fatigue rating of 14. Russell is 15. Let's play ball. So Dave Cash leading it off for the Phillies. Russell 2-6 against lefties and righties. So this will come off Cash's card. And 84 will be an out. And for Cash, right-handed normal hitter, that's a pop fly to first base and no error, one down. I think this will just speed things up a little bit. Using the Lewis research system versus going to actually flipping cards. So Larry Bow up, switch hitter batting left-handed. This will come off Russell's card. 47 will be an out. And Boa, that's a line drive down to first base, and Spirit put away by Thornton, 2 down. Jay Johnstone, the batter. And coming off of Johnstone's card, 58, that's going to be an out. And it's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop, and up with that is Rosello, whips it across the diamond to Thornton, and the Phillies go 3 up, 3 down in the first. So starting very much like they did in real life, when Russell held them in check for 6 innings. Rick Monday set to face off against lefty. And 78, that's going to be an out. And Monday, ground ball down to second base. And handled down there easily by Dave Cash, 1 down. Jose Cardinal, the batter. And the Cubbies left fielder, 10, that's going to come off of his card. 63 will be an out. And Cardinal, a fly ball to deep left field, and going back to pull that in is Luzinski, and no error on that, 2 down. Rather than saying no error on every error check, if I don't say anything, you can just assume there is no error committed. So 2 down for the Cubbies, and Bill Madlock up, and that's going to come off Madlock's card. 41 against the left-hander, and Madlock gets a hold of that. It is deep, deep, and gone into the right field bleachers. A 2-out home run to put the Cubbies on the board. So lefty hung a slider, and Madlock jumped all over that. And Cubbies jump out to a 1-0 lead. 2 down for Jerry Morales, and the Wrigley faithful going nuts for... Going to be off of lefty's card, and 52 versus the right-hander is going to be a wild pitch, which will go to an out, no runners on base. And Morales, a fly ball to center field, and 3 away as Maddox takes care of that. So the Cubbies break on top on the strength of Bill Madlock's solo home run. We head to the top of the second, 1-0 Chicago, and Greg Luzinski, the baby bull up. And Russell, that's going to come off Luzinski's card, and 2, that is going to be a clutch fielding result. So 24, and result on that is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. So at shortstop for the Cubbies, Dave Rosello has a clutch defense rating of 4. And 68 is result A, so G6A, and that's going to be batter out, lead runners hold if not forced. So simple 6-3. And the way clutch defense, and rereading the rules and the mechanics of the advanced version, clutch defense works similar to the range play in Status Pro, which is why you would always check out whether or not there are runners on base. So a little clarification there as Dangerous Dick Allen up, and 45 is going to be off Allen's card. Russell, swing and a miss. Allen can't catch up with a sinker, so he heads back to the dugout, 2 down, and Russell 5 up, 5 down, and here is the man of the hour, the MVP of this game in real life, Mike Schmidt, and we're going to have another clutch defense play. And right-handed power batter, that is a deep fly to left field, and in left field is Jose Cardinal. And clutch D of a 4, 23 on the dice. And it's going to be a spectacular catch of a deep fly. Runner on third scores, others hold. So that will be a long, loud out, and 3 up, 3 down go the Phils again. as we head to the bottom of the second inning. And Cubbies lead this one 1-0. And coming up will be big Andre Thornton, who in his limited time with the Cubbies was not very spectacular this season. So lefty winds up, and coming off Thornton's card, 51 against the left-hander. That's going to be a walk. So Steve Carlton, as he did in the real game, a little shaky early on here. 71 going to be off Carlton's card. That will be an out. Actually a clutch batting result. So Manny Trio will go to the batter's card on that and still will be an out. So pop fly to third base and no error. Thornton back to first and one down for the Cubs. Steve Swisher, who had a son who also played in the majors, Nick. 7 going to be off of Carlton's card. 79 will be an out. And that's going to be a pop fly to third base again. And circling into foul territory to put that away is going to be Bill Madlock and, Mike Schmidt. So 2 putouts for Schmidt in this inning as 2 down. And Dave Rosello, Chicago shortstop, steps up. 10 going to be off Rosello's card. That'll be an out. And ground ball down to first base, and gloving that, taking it to the bag himself, is going to be Dick Allen, and the Cubbies are retired. So 3 unassisted. The Cubbies, no hits, no runs, no errors. They do get a walk, leave 1, and heading to the third inning. So lefty escaped the apocalypse, the carnage that happened in real life as he's out of the second inning. Heading to the top of the third. And Rick Rochelle facing Gary Maddox. And clutch batting result will not apply. No runners on base. 52 off of Maddox's card, and that is going to be a base on balls. So the Phillies have their very first base runner. And Maddox, he is an A-. He's going to attempt a stolen base here. Okay, 11, and he is in there, and no error on the play. So Maddox down to second base, and the Phillies have a runner in scoring position. And that brings up Bob Boone. And both catchers, Boone's not only had siblings in the game, or children in the game, but also his father played as well in the major leagues. So 4 going to be off Russell's card, 55 against the right-hander, and that is going to be a wild pitch potentially. And checking on that, the result comes back no, so that becomes an out. And Booney, it's going to be a fly ball to right field, and 5-10 on the error in right field for the Cubbies. Jerry Morales is a 2, so he makes the catch. 1 down, runner on second holds. Steve Carlton, the batter now, 1 out for the Phillies, runner on second base. 10, 31 going to be off Carlton's card, and Carlton swing and a miss. Russell takes care of his opposing number. 2 down, back to the top of the order for the Phillies. Dave Cash, second baseman up, and it's going to be off Cash's card. 56 versus the righty will be an out. And that is a ground ball down to third base. And across the diamond goes Madlock, and the Phillies are retired in the top of the third. So a leadoff walk and stolen base goes nowhere. We're heading to the bottom of the third inning. Cubbies lead this one 1-0 as Rick Russell, the pitcher, set to lead it off against lefty. And 7, that's going to be off lefty's card. And 14, that's going to be a base hit for Russell back up the middle. And no error check on hits off the pitcher's card. So top of the order for Rick Monday as the Cubbies get after Carlton on this lovely summer day, early spring day in Wrigley. Wind blowing out. 7's going to be off Carlton's card. And Monday, ground ball down to second base. And no error on the play on that, and ranging into the hole to pick that up is Cash. His only play is going to be to first, so Russell down to second, 4-3 on the putout. 1 down, Jose Cardinal up for the Cubs, runner in scoring position. 8's going to be off Cardinal's card, and Cardinal versus a left-hander. Oh, just missed that. And ground ball down to first. And taking that himself is Allen. Over to third goes Russell, and the Cubbies 2 down, and they have a runner 90 feet away, looking to extend the lead to 2-0. Bill Madlock coming off Madlock's card 54, and against a left-hander, that's going to be a base on balls. So 2-out walk for Madlock, puts runners at the corners for Jerry Morales, and the Cubbies right fielder. His first time up, he flew out to center. Here comes a pitch off Carlton's card, 75. That is going to be an out. And Morales, a line drive right at Schmidt to third, and Schmidt gloves that easily. So the Cubbies get a hit. No runs, no errors. They leave 1, and we head to the top of the 4th inning. Chicago clings to a 1-0 lead as a Phillies shortstop, the fiery Larry Boa, of course, went on to have a decent managerial career in the bigs. Coming off Russell's card, 33 against the switch hitter, batting left-handed, and that is going to be a potential wild pitch, goes to an out. And pop fly to shortstop, and circling under that, putting it away easily is Rosello, 1 down. Philly right fielder Jay Johnstone up. He grounded out to short his first time up, and that's going to be a clutch defense result. And for Johnstone, LN, that'll be a ground ball down to second base, and at second base for the Cubbies, Manny Trio has a clutch D of 3. So 32 on the roll. That is going to be a type result A. And G4, lead runner out, or G4. So there is no lead runner. So that will be a simple ground ball as Trio uses his range to get to that. And 2 down. Phillies still looking for their first hit in this one, and it's going to be off Luzinski's card, and clutch batting doesn't apply, so that'll be an out. As the baby bull grounds that down to shortstop, and that takes care of the Phils. Yeah, I wish I could get this, adjust the screen resolution on this online flipper so that it wouldn't be kind of overpowering in the camera, but I do like the ease of this, quicker than flipping cards. So not sure if I'll stay with it, but I just wanted to try it and see how it worked for one game. So Andre Thornton up 77, going to be off Big Andre's card. And the power hitting righty grounds that down to second base, no error, 1 down. So thus far, both pitchers escaping the onslaught of the runs that existed when this game was played. 8, that's going to be off Manny Trio's card. 87 also will be an out. And Trio drives that deep into left field, and 7-10 error check. Left fielder Greg Luzinski's a 3, so he makes a nice running catch at the track. As 2 down for the Cubbies, and up next, Steve Swisher, the catcher. Swisher, he popped one up to Schmidt his first time up in this one. 7's going to be off lefty's card, and that will be an out. Ground ball down to shortstop, and that ends the inning. So 3 up, 3 down go the Cubs. And the swirling wind has not affected either pitcher yet as we head to the 5th inning. Dangerous Dick Allen up for the Phils, and 4 going to be off Russell's card, and that is going to be a single right back up the middle. So the Phils have their first hit of the day. And Dick Allen at first base for Mike Schmidt. And this would be a time for Schmidt to start to simulate his real-life heroics. 3 coming off Russell's card, however, and 32 against the right-hander. That's going to be a strikeout. So Russell retires Schmidt, and a big out there as a power-hitting third baseman heads back to the dugout. Gary Maddox up, 6 off Russell's card, and 35 versus the righty. Ring him up, swing and a miss. That's 2 strikeouts in a row for Russell. And 2 down for the Phils as Bob Boone comes up. 7 going to be off Booney's card against the right-hander, and Booney draws the base on balls. So down to second goes Dick Allen. And Phillies in business here, but the pitcher, Steve Carlton, up. And early in a 1-0 game, they're going to leave him in. 4 off of Russell's card against the left-hander, and that's going to be an out. And that's going to be a pop fly to the catcher, and circling back under that is Swisher. He gloves it, and the side is retired. So the Phils get their first hit of the day and a walk. Cannot do anything with that as we head to the bottom of the fifth inning, the halfway point in this one. And a little bit behind pace in terms of runs scored. It is 1-0 Cubbies as shortstop Dave Rosello set to lead things off for Chicago. 4 off a lefty's card and 16. And right now, the only way hits are occurring most of the time is off the pitcher's card, as Rosello drives a single back through the box. And that brings up Rick Russell, and Russell a BB sacrifice, and that's definitely what's going to happen here. All right, so BB and 81, and bunt popped up. First baseman, batter out, and runner has to hold. So Russell can't come through with the F3. And back to the top of the order, one down, Rick Monday, the Cubby center fielder who once saved the American flag in the outfield, stopping a protester attempting to burn it. 66, and off of Carlton's card, that was going to be an out. And ground ball down to second base. And ranging over to get that is Cash, and again, it's a play in the hole, so Rosello is going to get to second base, 4-3 on the putout. Runner in scoring position, 2 down, and Jose Cardinal up. 7 off a lefty's card, and that's going to be an out. Cardinal, fly ball to center field, and Maddox ranges to his left, puts that away. His side is retired, so the Cubbies get a hit. Strand Dave Rosello at second base as we head to the 6th inning. Both pitchers performing well in this one. Cubbies have 3 hits, and Phillies 1. Cubs lead 1-0. So for the Phillies, Dave Cash, top of the order, leads it off in the 6th, and it's going to be off Cash's card, 34 against the right-hander. That's a deep shot, and Cash, so Wrigley Field, 75 or less is gone, and 76 a triple, 77, 78 a double, so it's pretty much a clout or an out. Here we go. Cash gets all of that, and it is back, and into the netting behind the left field bleachers. Philadelphia has tied it on a leadoff home run by Cash here in the 6th inning, 1-1. And finally, the wind comes into play as Cash put that up in the jet stream, and that one went on a rocket ride. Larry Boa up now. And 87, it's going to be an out for Boa, the switch hitting shortstop. And he'll line drive to second base. No error on that, 1 down. Philly right fielder Jay Johnstone 0 for 2. He steps up off Johnstone's card. That will be an out. And ground ball down to second base. And Candy hop on that for Trio. Whips it over to first, 2 down. Baby Bull, Greg Lazinski, he'd love to elevate one here. And 33 off of his card. It's going to happen, and that is driven into center field off the top of the wall. And Lazinski going to get into second base with a double. And the Phillies going to take the lead here with 2 outs and Dangerous Dick Allen, the batter. Lazinski gets his lead from second base. He absolutely roped that one off the ivy in center field. And 9 off Allen's card, 14. And Allen, that is going to be a single into right field. So for runner advancement, we'll roll on that so it's apparent. So Lazinski, 2 outs, and his OBR is an E. Not very spiffy there. So that moves him up to a D with 2 outs. And he's going to look to come in and score. So 61, and he is actually going to have to, let me make sure, 61, he'll hold at third base. So even with 2 outs, the slow-footed Lazinski not able to get around to give the Phillies the lead. Okay, so Mike Schmidt, 2 runners on, and he's going to look to give the Phillies the decisive lead in this one. 7, that's coming off Schmidt's card, 67. And that is going to be a walk. So the Phillies Bases loaded now. And Rushell in trouble here in the top of the 6th inning as Gary Maddox steps to the plate. Maddox did homer in this game in real life, and a 66, and that is going to be an out for Maddox. And line drive at second base right at Trio. He gloves that, and the side is retired. So the Phillies do get a leadoff home run from Dave Cash to tie this, but leave the sacks loaded. 3 hits, 1 run, and no errors. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, tied at 1. Jose Cardinal leading off for the Cubbies. And 7, that's going to be off of Lefty's card. 14, that'll be a single into left field. So the Cubs have their leadoff runner on for Bill Madlock, their 4th hit of the day. And 3 off of Lefty's card. 64, that's going to be an out. And ground ball down to shortstop. Boa ranges behind the bag, picks that up, whips it over to first base, and unable to get the lead runner at second. So 6-3 on the putout. And that was actually Morales. So Andre Thornton will be the batter now. 1 down, and Madlock at second base. Here comes a pitch from Carlton, 36. And against the right-hander at 36, that's going to be a swing and a miss lefty with a hard slider. And Thornton is jammed on that, 2 down. Second baseman Manny Trio up, Cubbies, runner in scoring position. And 4-18, that's going to be off Carlton's card as well, and that's going to be a single into right. So at second base, Madlock becomes a C. And I'm going to try and come around and score, 63. And actually it's going to be off the throwing arm of the right fielder, which is a 2. So 11-58 scores, and 63, he's going to get held to third base. So Trio delivers, but runners at the corners as unable to score. A strong throw in from right field. Steve Swisher, the batter. And 62, lefty, that is going to be a out. And pop fly behind second base, and ranging to get that is Larry Boa. So the Cubbies are retired. They get a couple of hits. Leave 2, and we are through 6 innings, and the wild shootout has not materialized. Instead, we have an old-fashioned pitcher's duel, 1-1, Cubs and Phillies tied. As we head to the 7th inning, Bob Boone, the batter. And 54 off Rushell's card, and against the right-hander, 54 would have been a wild pitch. No runners on though, so that'll be an out. And ground ball down to third base. Madlock takes care of that one away. All right, so decision time here in the 7th inning. So 1-1 game in Carlton. His fatigue is at a 9, and he has a total rating of 14. They're going to go ahead and let him hit since he is pitching fairly well still. So Rushell delivers, and it's coming off Carlton's card. 57, and swing and a miss. So Rushell strikes him out for the 2nd time today. And back to the top of the order, 2 down for Dave Cash. And Cash, his last time up, roped a shot into the left field bleachers at Wrigley to tie this game at 1. 68 coming off Cash's card. That'll be an out. Fly ball to left field, and can of corn out there for Jose Cardinal. And the Phillies are retired in order as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, 1-1 in this one. As Harry Carey leads the Wrigley faithful in a somewhat slurred version of Take Me After the Ball Game. No surprise, it is a 7th inning after all, and Harry is probably 3 or 4 buds in at this point. So coming off of Dave Rosello's card, 71, that's going to be an out. Ground ball down to shortstop. Boa whips that across the diamond as Dick Allen scoops it out of the dirt. 1 down, and Cubbies have a similar decision now as Rushell is due up. Rushell's fatigue rating, it is only 9 right now, counting his point for entering the 7th inning. So he's going to try and hit, needs a decent hitter. He actually has one in this game already, of course. So that's going to be a clutch defensive check. And that will be center field, and in center field for the Phillies. Gary Maddox has a clutch defense rating of 5. That is as good as it can get. And 76. A shallow fly ball, batter out, runners hold. So Maddox using his range to run that one down. And would have been a potential base hit against any other clutch D rating. So 2 down for Rick Monday. And lefty looking to get out of the inning, 52. And against the left-hander, 52 is going to be a walk. So lefty now goes to 11. And that'll get some action up in the Phillies bullpen. And we have another clutch defensive check. And Jose Cardinal, that is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And Larry Boa is a clutch D of 3. 18 on the die roll. And Ranges flips that to Cash to get the lead runner, and side is retired. So 6-4 on the putout. And the Cubbies waste a walk. We are through 7 and still tied at 1 apiece. As Larry Boa, who made that nice play now to lead it off for the Phillies here in the 8th inning. And another clutch defense check. And Boa hitting left-handed. This will be a ground ball down to short. And for the Cubbies at shortstop, Dave Rosello has a clutch D rating of 4. 35 on the dice. And that'll be an easy scoop and whip across the diamond for Rosello. So 6-3 on the putout, and Boa is retired. Jay Johnstone up now, 1 down. Phillies going to get some base runners here. This is coming off of Johnstone's card, and that is going to be a base hit as he drives that into left field. So a 1-out hit, and Russell now is at 10, so he is fine in terms of fatigue as the baby bull Greg Luzinski steps up. And 76 off of Luzinski's card, and that will be an out. And ground ball down to second base. And no error on that, and ranging behind the bag to pick that up is Trio, whips it across, and Luzinski retired at first. Johnstone goes to second, 4-3 on the putout there. So Dangerous Dick Allen, 2 outs, and looking to get the Phillies the lead here. Johnstone, 2 outs. His OBR will be a B if Allen could put it in play. And 41 going to be off Allen's card, and that is going to be a strikeout. So Russell comes up with a big K as Allen heads back to the dugout disgusted, throws his hat. And the Phillies retired as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still tied at 1 in this one. And Carlton starting the 8th. His fatigue rating is now at 12, so you can go either a combination of 2 more base runners or 1 base runner and 1 inning, and he will be fatigued. 5, that's going to be off Carlton's card, 26 against Madlock, the right-hander. And 26, Carlton, who's not had very many strikeouts in this game, comes up with a big one here as he drives a slider in on Madlock. Jams him on the hands. Jerry Morales up now. 7 off Morales' card. 76. And Morales with a big cut grounds that down to third base and taking that on 2 hops. Whipping across is Mike Schmidt, and 5-3. Jerry Morales goes down. So still 1-1. 2 outs for Big Andre Thornton. And 6 and 76. That's going to be an out. And Andre pops that up high behind home plate. Circling under that is catcher Bob Boone. And Cubbies retired. So Steve Carlton is come on strong. He had a rough 6. Looked like he might have been on his way out. But last 2 innings have been strong. So we're heading to the 9th inning. And we are all tied up at 1. And Mike Schmidt, who hit 4 home runs, of course, in this game in real life, has yet to hit any now. 71 is going to be off Schmidt's card. And 71 against the right-hander. That's going to be a base on balls. So Mike Schmidt can possibly contribute as a runner. That puts Russell's fatigue at 12 now. So he's good for 3 more base runners if it comes to that. 73 to Gary Maddox, and Maddox fly ball to right field, and an easy put out there, routine pop for a routine fly for Morales, 1 down. Bob Boone the batter, Schmidt at first base, and 7 going to be off Boone's card against the right-hander, 27, and that is going to be a double down the left field corner, so Boone lashes that, and Morales, or Schmidt actually, is a B. So here we go, 67, and 67 goes to the thrower, or the outfielder's throwing arm. So in left field for the Cubbies, Jose Cardinal is a 3. And 51 to 68, 67, and Schmidt's going to get in just under the throw, and the Phillies have taken the lead 2-1 here in the top of the 9th, and Russell, who has pitched a whale of a ball game, no pun intended, he is crestfallen on the mound as Steve Carlton and lefty. He actually will go into the 9th inning. Starting the 9th will give him 1 fatigue point. They're going to pinch it for him here. So Carlton, he goes 8 innings and gives just 5 hits to the Cubbies. 1 earned run. And strikes out, walks 3 and only strikes out 2. So in terms of strikeouts, not a typical Carlton performance. So the Phillies will look to Ron Schuler to save this, and the pinch hitter is going to be none other than Tim McCarver. And normally lefty's battery mate, so McCarver the pinch hitter here in the 9th. And he's going to look to give the Cubbies, or the Phillies, a little bit more insurance. 3 going to be off Russell's card, and 33 against the left-hander. And that is going to be a potential wild pitch, and a no, so it goes to an out. And McCarver, that will be a ground ball to first base. And taking that to the bag himself will be Thornton over to third. We'll go Boone, and 2 outs on the G3, unassisted. And back to the top of the order now for Dave Cash. And Russell had a disappointing inning, but looking to get out of this here, 63, and that's going to be an out. So Cash, ground ball down to first base again, and Thornton takes care of that himself. So the Phils are retired, but they get a hit and a run. A scorching double by Bob Boone, bringing in Mike Schmidt as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, and Schuler's going to look to nail this one down for the Phillies. They lead the Cubs 2-1 in a far cry from the real-life result. Now Schuler, he is a 4-7 and a 2-5 against right-hander, so this will be off Trio's card. And 48 is going to be an out. And it's a ground ball down to second base. Cash takes care of that. 1 down for the Cubs. Steve Swisher, the batter. And coming off Swisher's card, 73 and out. Deep fly ball to center field, going back to the track, and pulling that in is Maddox, over the shoulder catch. So a long, loud out, but 2 away, and the Cubbies down to their final out in the form of shortstop Dave Rosello. And Schuler against the right-hander, a 13, and swing and a miss, struck him out. So Schuler only gives up 2 hits off his card against righties. 13 to 55, a K, and that is a big one. Cubbies are retired, 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Art definitely not imitating life in this one. Still a exciting game. So for the Cubbies, despite the wind blowing out, neither team able to generate the offense. In fact, both really held in check for the most part. The Phillies didn't even have their first hit until the 5th inning in this one, and they ended up with 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. For the Cubbies, 1 run on 5 hits, no errors. So a great pitching matchup, and this is kind of it kind of materialized the way one might have hoped it would have in real life, with Russell and Carlton going against each other as they matched donuts for most of the game. Carlton was touched early, a first inning home run by Bill Madlock, and things stayed 1-0 until the 6th, when Dave Cash led off the 6th for the Phillies, also with a solo home run into the left field netting behind the bleachers. And then in the bottom or the top of the 9th inning, Mike Schmidt, who hit 4 home runs in this game in real life, was held to 2 walks in 4 plate appearances today. He led off the inning with a walk. And after a flyout by Gary Maddox, Bob Boone delivered a clutch double, and that's plated Schmidt just ahead of the throw. And that was really all the Phillies needed. So an exciting, closely contested game, and our game of the week 3. And I do like this Lewis Research flipper. So probably going to go with that. I'll think about it. I'll probably go with that as my setup. I just wish, again, that I could get the results on the screen, but the lighting, the background lighting on this on my tablet is white, so it just shows up as kind of a blur or overly bright. But anyway, this was a fun game. So looking forward, we'll stay in the National League, I think, for our next one. And next week, I'll look to capture either a Mets game with Seaver on the hill, or potentially a Dodgers or Reds game. Would be ideal if those 2 teams were playing. I haven't checked the schedule, but we'll come up with something good for the National League for our week 4 game of the week. And as always, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button, and still taking requests for games you'd like to see down the future or down the road. We will have a Mark Fidrich start coming up, probably 2 of his actually, as he's one of the better memories from the 1976 season. We'll definitely have another Yankees game at some point. And other games, Red Sox, we got to get the Red Sox in there for our contingent of Red Sox fans, friend of the channel. So yeah, we'll hit every team, like I said, at least once, possibly twice. Another start that we're going to get is one of Nolan Ryan's starts. And also for the Astros, I would like to get a J.R. Richards start as well. So big fan of him, as one of many fireballing pitchers from that era. And of course, his career cut short tragically by a stroke when he still had probably several solid years left to pitch. So anyway, that's it from Wrigley Field. A 2-1 Phillies victory in this one. And until next time, keep rolling for the fences, and we'll see ya.